How are you?
Hey, great. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Almost February.
Yeah.
Year. Yeah, I know. It is late June.
So just looking at the updated weather, it looks like it's not going to get cold enough to snow on
They're
Sundays.
saying 3 inches.
We are gonna meet next week too.
Yeah.
I've been watching my owl.
I saw now it's just like
The
rain.
new
It's not even
application is for
snow.
concrete plants. Or I think I can do that
Still a
administrative.
full 3 days away, so I'm sure they don't have to.
Yeah, I saw that just popped
Yeah, I
up.
saw it on my tail, I just didn't get over to it.
Person
they're not.
opposed to it.
It's that PEQ and PEM wetlands that we were looking at the one there.
Okay. Yeah, do you want to do the whole story? Why don't you?
All right. Clock strike 5:30. Good evening, January 21st, 2026, 5:30 p.m. This is the Wetlands and Coastal Dune Board regular meeting for January 2026. Going to now call the meeting to order and do a roll call. Alan, down there, you just start with you, and we'll just state your name, say present.
Alan Clark, present.
Mike Hudson, present.
Bill Robertson, present.
John Shenik, present.
Liz Pruitt, present.
All right, so we have a quorum, and so the meeting's called to order. First order of business, we'll stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first order of business will be the consent agenda for the format of the meeting, and as well as the approval of the minutes from the previous board meeting, September 17th, 2025. Does anybody have any issues with approving the items on the consent agenda?
None?
And a motion to approve,
So moved.
and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, the consent agenda is approved. First order of business is the public hearing with regards to the wetlands application from Bay Creek at Cape Charles Community Association to construct an aquatic barrier to deter aquatic vegetation from floating in the Chesapeake Bay coming ashore at the north beach of Bay Creek. So Jack, do you want to get things rolling here?
Right. So like Katie said earlier before the meeting started, this was kind of a gray area for us. We've been in contact with VMRC, and they've been trying to get in touch with VIMS on who really has jurisdiction over this area. So with all that said, this is more of a hearing to kind of put it out there to the public so we're not hit 6 months down the road. Why did you guys never talk about this?
Sure.
So, on December 30th, 2025, applicant Ed Lunam, representing Bay Creek at Cape Charles Community Association, submitted an application to the Wetlands and Coastal Dune Board to consider a proposed aquatic barrier to deter floating aquatic vegetation in the Chesapeake Bay from coming ashore to the north beach of Bay Creek. And I captured the area in the aerial map, but if you go to page 53 of your packet, it will reflect the first stage in the test area much better than my image did. And then also, because the site plan was a big one on 2 pages, I condensed that down to 1, and that's on page 9. You can see the entire area that's going to be impacted. And then also I included the project specifics, and you can read through those. But the thing we would be most, that we would want to know about is the mitigation to the wetlands and coastal dune. So this project would mitigate the impact on any intertidal areas due to the ability to quickly implement the barrier, as it can be placed seasonally for severe storms or permanently if it works out well. If deemed unsatisfactory for the intended purpose, removal will be just as quick. The installation of the barrier requires no clearing, grading, or excavating, and does not involve the use of heavy machinery in the shore or buffer areas. And then also I included the Code of Virginia requirements and the zoning ordinance requirements. And then all the way down, we have our questions for the board that we can go over individually, or the applicant, whichever. And then our recommendations. So after reviewing the application, we understand that the implementation of this barrier will have a multifaceted impact on the north beach of Bay Creek. Firstly, to keep vegetation from the Chesapeake Bay from coming ashore. And secondly, to preserve and protect the sandy beach habitat that supports the local tiger beach populations along the north beach of Bay Creek, as the excessive accumulation of plant debris transported by tidal action is degrading the quality of the habitat. It will also allow Bay Creek to change their management practices, as currently they are burying accumulated debris on the beach, which has contributed to the establishment of invasive plant species and the continual spreading of these species into the sandy shoreline, resulting in a further reduction of suitable habitat for the tiger beetles. And then, as we said earlier, this was kind of a gray area for us, so we just wanted to hold the public hearing and get all the questions and concerns out of the way. So that is all we got, and the applicant, Ed Lunam, is here to answer any questions for you.
Great.
And I did just want to add for the board and for the applicant, which they are aware, we over-notified again because we didn't want to, again, have anyone step forward and say we weren't aware of this. So we actually notified all of the adjacent property owners along the entire beachfront of the north side, not just within this initial proposed test area first. So just so we let everybody know who property up there at North Beach, what's going on.
And have you gotten responses or no?
You do have one written comment that came in that we're gonna read into the record here shortly. So that's it. So if you want to hear from the applicant next.
Yeah, Mr. Lewin, go ahead.
Sorry, step up.
Absolutely.
All right. One of the things that an application never shows is a history, and I'd like to give you just a brief history to catch you up to speed on how we even got here.
And can you talk into the mic?
Oh, sure. I could just speak up. That's that'll work too. We used to use heavy machinery on that beach to clean up the algae, the seaborne debris, whatever you want to call it. The association was notified and had meetings with state level wildlife, everybody, when the tiger beetle situation came into play. So we had to stop doing that. So the debris has been washing up on the beach. It actually has to be hand removed. To take it completely off the beach is too labor intensive. There's no way to actually physically do it. So the agreement that was struck with the state was, as we've mentioned, was to bury the debris. That had bad repercussions. At least not great repercussions, but it was acceptable. Bert Foreman has been working on this project almost since its inception. He's a driver behind how we came up with this plan, and it wasn't the only plan. This is the best plan that we have right now. Our goal is to help us mitigate all these problems with having this debris wash up on the beach. I was telling Katie and Jack in a meeting that we had, our first goal, and one that I think is most concerning to this board, is no damage. Go back to the Hippocratic Oath, at first do no harm. First sight of harm is the end of the project. and we go to plan B, C, D, wherever we end up. Second, we're going to be able to do this as a temporary measure. If you look back at your map, and I think the proper term is a tombolo, I think it is. But anyway, that little cove right there is almost its own little tiny ecosystem as you go between the breakwaters. It's if somebody had to design a place to try this out, that Cove 4 or Breakwater 4, or however we want to number them, is the perfect place. Our landscaping company that does the beach cleaning right now has got 3.5 years of experience. They're going to be able to tell me whether this is working, whether it's not working. We've got people who live on the shoreline that are constantly watching our beach. They're going to be able to tell us whether they're seeing any impact or not. My office is only 3 minutes away. I can personally go out and verify. So, no harm, it's a test, and it's non-permanent. If it doesn't work, it's gone. We're also going to be working this as a seasonal issue. You guys have been doing this for a while now. You realize that getting this kind of debris is not a year-round issue due to density, moon cycles, blah, blah. But you guys know that we shouldn't have to do that. And if it's not being used, then we'll take it out of the water. We'll also be keeping an eye on how well it stands up. We will have plans in place for removing it within 72 hours of being notified that we've got storms coming. And I say 72 hours now. It's a plan. And with all plans and all tests, we'll react accordingly. And I believe that's where we're at. So, your turn.
Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said
Why
you did.
does the beach need to be cleaned of this debris at all?
It is the property of Bay Creek Community Association. It is an amenity, if you will, for the association. It has to be maintained. It is a beach. When it was first gifted to the association, it was in the documents that it would be maintained as a beach.
Well, it is a beach. As a clear beach without eelgrass on it? Are we talking about eelgrass? That's another question of mine. You talked about, in your application, there was reference to the effects of aquaculture on the seagrass that's growing out
No,
there?
that from my understanding is untouchable. If it's growing naturally in there.
Sure. I'm just wondering if that's what's washing up on the beach.
No, we're talking about algae and.
Can I address that?
Yes, please.
It's coming off the climb beds.
What was that?
It's coming off the climb beds. We have hundreds of climb beds in front of our beach. If you go to our beach and you look, the aquatic vegetation is not the same aquatic vegetation that's on the South Beach where the golf course is. They don't have our vegetation. If you walk out beyond the jetties, all this vegetation grows on the climb beds. It breaks away, it washes to shore.
So it's not rooted in the bottom, it's something, it is an algae, it's not a seagrass.
Right.
Okay,
It has been classified as an algae.
okay. Okay, so you had an agreement with the state that you could remove the debris and that
By
would not-
hand.
By hand, okay.
And bury it.
Okay. How is the system deployed and taken up, and is it anchored to the bottom, or how does it, explain how that
If you
works?
refer back to your two pictures, if you can think of the breakwaters,
Yep,
there will be a pole anchored at both ends, and then the floats will come across and overlap. I was asked about a gate system. Gate, I think, is more of a terminology. Gate could be gap, if you wanted to use that term instead of gate. There will be no physical gate attaching them, and then chain to the
It
bottom.
just simply overlaps.
Yep.
And the vegetation will wash into the barrier, and the tide should carry it away from our beach. There is no way that it impedes any kind of aquatic animals, because it's literally gonna, I mean, it's probably gonna be 5 to 10, you know, probably not 10, but at least 5 feet, and they will overlap. So fish and aquatic, they can come and go as they please. This is not invasive to any species.
No
It's
question.
just meant to, like, as the stuff comes in, it hits the barrier, the tide just keeps taking it down the stream.
Go ahead, Matt.
Do we know who the gentleman that's speaking is? Did I miss something? Have you introduced yourself?
I'm Bert Foreman.
Oh, you're Bert, okay.
And
Okay.
it would help Bert, I know, to stand up and speak at the mic, because we do have people viewing this on
Okay.
our live stream.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sure.
Go ahead, Liz, do you have more questions, or?
I'll take a minute if someone else wants to.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Probably. yes.
So, is the proposal to put one of these plastic booms in between one jetty as a trial? And, okay, so rather than, what are there, 5 or 6 jetties? So your proposal is to only do one and see how it goes?
Yes.
Okay.
To be able to come back before this board, if that's the way that things play out in a year, and say, this is the results.
Right.
It worked, you know, and this is how much it worked. Come back in front of this board and say, thanks, guys, but we'll see you back next time when we find our plan B, we find our plan C.
This is, yes, this is a new solution to the Chesapeake Bay, but in Florida, the Caribbean, Mexico, these are on every resort beach out there, because they're having the exact same issue.
Because of aquaculture?
Yes,
Okay.
it's actually the vegetation they deal with is called sargassum grass, and it is invasive. If you go to a resort, I have seen it personally. They have these booms out there because people don't want to spend all this money to go to a resort and then have all of this.
To clarify, it's invasive from the point of view of a tourist. It's not an invasive species in a natural system. That is a completely natural plant that is supposed to grow in the Gulf of Mexico and in the Atlantic Ocean. So yes, this is from the perspective of the comfort of people who want to use the beach, not a natural system.
Understand. So you mentioned it's a test, so that was to be, who determines if the test is successful or not? What kind of, is that going to be laid out anywhere, what the criteria is for a successful versus?
I would feel that us working together, and then as we progress from here, because I don't know if you know this or not, but this is step 1. We still have to go through the state. The state may end up with different criteria. One of the things offered to us from the Army Corps of Engineers was an application to treat this as a test case. And I had the exact same questions. Okay, we get the application's approved, what's our criteria now? Right now, my criteria is going to be observation alone. And talking to my landscaper who says, my guys love Cove 4 now because they don't have to pick up anything. We're not burying anything in there.
I think when it really comes down to it, it's not the way that we're having to manage that beach right now is not environmentally friendly.
Can you expand on that and talk about where it's being buried? And you said it's encouraging invasive plant growth. Can you expand on that?
When they rake the beach, they dig holes. Those holes can be 5 feet deep.
On the beach?
Absolutely.
Within the beach? And so that is in our area? Yes?
And so they're digging 5-foot holes, and then they're back, you know, they're putting the seed vegetation in and then covering it back up. By nature, it's gonna rot. It attracts insects, it smells terrible. And, you know, if you're digging up the beach, I would think that has an impact on the tiger beetle. So,
Are there tiger beetles on the beach, do we know? Has it
We
been
we are told
surveyed?
that there are.
Yes, and that was actually known and provided to you during the hearing now 2 years ago for the beach, the sand renourishment.
Replenishment, yes.
Replenishment project, yes.
Which is probably the next time I'll see you guys.
so unfortunately, the tiger beetles are dormant between about probably November and April, which coincides when the water warms up and this vegetation multiplies. So it's a kind of a twofold thing. It's like they come out of hibernation, and the water temperature is causing all this vegetation all over the world, because we all know the water's getting warmer, to grow, you know, at a much faster pace.
Understand.
So, Bert, you said this is an algae, but I don't live in that part of Bay Creek. I live in the southern part, but I would assume you get the same grasses that we get on the southern
We actually don't
beach?
get much eelgrass. The South Beach gets it because if you walk right out in the water, about 20, 30 feet right off the beach where the golf course is, there are beds of eelgrass. We don't have those. We have hundreds of clam beds that are covered in this. It almost looks like this moss. It's red. It's this reddish brown kind of mossy material.
And you said earlier the expectation is that the tide is going to move this algae, you know, back and forth and away from the barrier. A, how do we know that that's what will happen? And B, if that doesn't happen and these booms or barriers get encrusted or corroded with all this stuff, who's gonna clean that?
We'll clean it, but it'd also be considered a failure.
Yes. So the solution is designed for this. So if it doesn't work, then our pilot failed and we go to the next step. But for all intents and purposes, this is exactly what these solutions are designed for.
So is your definition of it not working if you actually have to maintain the booms and clean them?
I don't think we'll have to maintain and clean.
But is that your definition of it, the thing not working?
I think it's going to be a determination on a level. If it doesn't do its job, if I got to send people out to clean those booms every week.
Yeah, your landscaper's not going to want to wait out there
He
and,
does not want to wait out
no,
there.
and with a wheelbarrow and haul in,
And to time it with a low tide.
right. So that'll be a failure.
It'll be a failure.
There's
Okay.
really nothing for the stuff to attach to. It's simply just a barrier, and it hits the barrier, and as long as the tide is moving, which
Moves
it does,
on.
it moves on.
And where does
Right.
it move? Do we know that?
Wherever
There's
the
no
Chesapeake
modeling?
Bay takes it.
Yeah, north and south.
So potentially onto the public beach in Cape Charles?
I
You've got
don't
that-
think it's gonna.
You've got that spit of land. We're farther back. Yeah, maybe I should have gotten a bigger, better map. But there's
I
actually
understand
a-
where you are.
There's actually a bump that should protect the Cape Charles beach.
Where the old ferry terminal was, yeah, so.
Yeah, well, there's a jetty at Washington Avenue that goes out, you know, considerable distance. I don't see from those booms that anything's gonna
But
flow
remember,
down south of that
The
jetty.
tide goes one way for 6 hours and then it goes the other for the other.
That's
so
right.
It's going to be going back and forth
Yes.
and,
If it's a problem on their beach, it's a problem on any beach, yes?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, does the public beach have this algae collection?
No, because they don't have clam
Because
beds.
there's, yeah.
And if you do an aerial photo, there are hundreds of clam beds right off of our jetties.
If you look at page 53 again, you can see all the clam beds kind of along the.
It was in the package that was online.
oh, okay.
I mean, there's another conversation that is a delicate conversation, but it's worth bringing up, which is, yes, this vegetation is natural to the Chesapeake Bay, but if those clam beds weren't there, we wouldn't have this problem. So are the clam farmers doing their job to manage their beds? I mean, if stuff is washing off their beds, to me, that needs to be addressed.
Understand. Any other questions from board members?
And when I was reading the application, I saw that there was 2 stages in there, a test phase and a permanent phase, but I didn't read it as being an application only for the test phase. Is that what you're saying, that this is only for the test phase, and then if you deem it a success, you're gonna come back and ask for approval for the full stage?
I mean, I would honestly think that would be one of the requirements of this board is, I mean, if you guys want to give us full permit, do all of them, that's great, but I don't think that's what you want to do at this stage.
That's never been our approach.
Yeah.
Our approach has always been, let's walk before we run. We have to do something. It's not environmentally friendly for the beach, and the stuff's not going to stop washing ashore. So we have to do something, and this seemed like a very reasonable, very easy solution to put in place for us to test. If it needs to be removed, it can be unhooked, moved. I mean, it's not an overly heavy structure. I mean, 2 people can grab one end, the other person grab the other end, and they can literally drag it to shore.
So, did you say you only need 6 months for the trial?
No, I would think a full year would be more beneficial. 6 months will get us.
Okay, you want it through every season.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this board said, okay, at the conclusion of all the regulatory agencies that need to weigh in on this, you get 1 additional year to test it, that would be enough.
Absolutely should be.
I think we're going to know in a month if it works. I mean,
I look around the other corners.
Do you
Well-
do you plan to have it deployed year round, or I thought you said you
No,
were going to take it in seasonally?
We're looking at taking it down seasonally.
Oh, so
There's no
you would be
reason-
there in the summer
We're
to
not
prevent?
seeing a reason to have it up year round, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
That's
but, right now, we would probably get to a point where it's just like, whenever we actually hit winter,
And that's because the algae stops coming up, or is that because people stop
At
using the
fall.
beach?
no,
it
it's
would-
really because of tide. I went
Yeah.
down there right before I came over here, and we don't even have water all the way up to the beach. The water is beyond the jetties. So there's no water that's bringing the stuff in right now, because in the wintertime, you have lower tides. And it's the spring and summer when the water warms up and we have higher tides. It just keeps coming and coming and coming.
So you would deploy it seasonally?
Yes.
Okay. And that's another thing I don't think
We
was
don't think
really
we need it. We
clear.
don't think we need it in the winter. I mean, if the water's 100 yards out because it's low tide, we don't want it to just lay there in the mud,
Who's going to maintain this? You said, is it your contractor that does the beach now is going to be deploying it, bringing it back in if required, maintaining
That's
it,
the
cleaning
plan
it?
right now.
Okay.
It's
And they're signed up to do that?
Yeah, well, I've twisted his arm, but yes, he is definitely signed up for it. We're,
Our contractor's been involved in these conversations. He's well aware of the issue, and he would support us trying to find a solution.
Where would these booms be stored when they're not deployed?
we'll either get a storage. We've got a container out by the golf course maintenance shack. We'll find a home for them.
Well,
Anything else?
I did just want to weigh in just so, because we talked about history. This was at least 3 times VMRC received complaints last summer, and we went out with VMRC to tour the North Beach. There was a substantial amount of aquatic material on the beach. The smell was powerful, I'll say that much. So VMRC staff, as well as your town staff, has been out there when this has been present on the beach, and they're aware of it. And they also puzzled over this last summer as well, from the staff perspective, trying to figure out what could be a solution. So, and again, I know it may be a lower level staff who came out to look at this, but they also had a chance to observe the conditions being described. So just wanted you to be aware of that.
what, obviously, I don't know if you've all seen this, the public comment on it.
That's what we're about to go into next.
Okay.
The public comment portion of your public hearing.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
All right, that's the, we've been briefed on the specs of the plan, so now we're going to open it up to the public comment section, again, trying to keep it 3 minutes or less. Are we going to read into the record or
I don't know, did anybody
paraphrase?
sign up for, Marina, did you sign up to speak?
I didn't, but can I just respond to your one question about what are the environmental impacts on the dune?
I need you to stand
Yeah.
up, say your name and your address, and then.
I'm sorry,
your
Marina
comments.
Pierce, 134 Heron Point Drive. To your question about how the environmental impact on the dunes, in the areas where they have buried it, it's prime area for invasive weeds to come in there. So the natural vegetation on the dunes is being overrun by crabgrasses and different things that are growing in there, where if we can get that stuff out of there, it gives the natural dune vegetation, more of
Is
a-
there anything that prevents you all from taking that somewhere else? Does it have to be buried there, or it's
Can
just
I
a
address-
convenience?
Can I address that? So, yes, I have talked to our contractor, and there's 2 things. Number 1, you would have to go up about 5 or 6 feet to get up to an area where you could then put this into a dump truck. There is no dump or refuge on the eastern shore. So for him to remove this from our beach and take it somewhere else, it's not feasible. Yeah. And there's really no way, you would literally have to, we even discussed potentially replacing one of the staircases with a handicap ramp so they could ramp wheelbarrows up. And he said, I'm not doing that. I'm not making my guys take 500 trips up with a wheelbarrow full of extremely, and the stuff is heavy because it's wet, it's covered in sand. And so removing it it's just not a feasible solution because there's nowhere to take it. There is no dump on the eastern shore that he could dispose of it.
Thank you. All right, Jack, are you going to just summarize the email public comment we got?
He's gonna read until 3 minutes passes.
Okay.
Okay. Dear Ms. Nunez, we are writing to vehemently and unequivocally oppose the proposed installation of a floating debris boom along the north end bayfront. This ill-conceived project poses grave and unacceptable threats to the environment, navigation, and the essential natural character of the shoreline. The purported benefits are baseless, unsubstantiated, and utterly overshadowed by the severe risks it entails. As Bayfront residents for over 20 years, we have enjoyed an unobstructed and continuous view of the waterfront and bear witness to the irreplaceable value of this habitat. We regularly observe cow-nosed rays and pods of bottlenose dolphins swimming directly in front of the existing breakwaters, often in groups and at predictable times of the day. This is no mere coincidence. It is a critical wildlife corridor indispensable to the health and survival of the nearshore ecosystem. Any obstruction in this zone will disrupt these species' natural behaviors, feeding patterns, and habitat connectivity, causing irreversible damage. The proposed floating debris barrier represents a blatant and intolerable interference with the protected marine species. It threatens to displace them, forcing them in deeper hostile waters and inflicting permanent ecological harm. Such environmental destruction is unacceptable and must be halted immediately. Moreover, the installation of the boom will severely degrade the visual and recreational value of the bayfront. The pristine open water view's natural shoreline and unique opportunity to observe wildlife undisturbed are invaluable to residents and visitors alike. This project will irrevocably destroy these qualities while no tangible or demonstrable benefit. Additionally, these types of booms are for industrial and commercial applications, not residential use, as documented with numerous resources and other studies. Floating debris booms are clearly designed for commercial waterways operations and industrial settings for specific high-priority applications, such as protecting critical infrastructure, harbor and industrial areas, and spill response, oil spills. These types of booms are clearly not practical for average residential use. Given the other grave concerns, including the documented presence of the sensitive marine species, the imminent risk of habitat fragmentation, and the irreversible degradation of the bayfront's natural character, we request the immediate and complete withdrawal of the proposal. Failure to heed these warnings will provoke public opposition and result in harmful and damaging ecological consequences. Thank you for your immediate and serious attention to this urgent matter. Sincerely, Michael and Kathleen Kurgan, 151 Sunset Boulevard.
All right, thank you very much. I guess this concludes the public hearing portion of the board meeting. So we'll now open it up to board discussion. I'll kick things off. We don't meet that often, and again, for the folks out there, our jurisdiction is mainly the intertidal zone, which I don't see interaction with for this project, but and that's, last week I was reaching out to Jack, hey, what is the town's recommendation? It sounds like to me it's still, you're waiting for VMRC. So my initial inclination is that we defer any type of action, if we even have any action to take, until we get some more clarification from VMRC or even the Army Corps.
And VIMS in particular.
VIMS, yeah.
Also would be fine.
I don't know, what rest of you, what do you, you've read through it, I've read through the package a bunch of times, and those breakwaters, like Katie was mentioning, we met a couple of years ago, for the restoration part, and kind of even grappled with that. So, and that was mainly because the vehicles were coming through the intertidal zone. So,
I agree with you. It's not clear if we have a decision to make here, and I think the regulators will weigh in, and you'll probably hear these concerns from them, I'm guessing.
Right.
But it's not clear that this is
from
within our purview.
mean low water to 1.5, we don't know what the impact would be, but I don't think it probably will, but that's not our call, and I think it's VMRC.
Just to clarify, all the property owners were notified, so this was the only comment we had. And then I did notice in the initial record, was it Hollingsworth? They did submit a letter, didn't they, in the initial package? They're the people that live around by the old ferry dock. I thought I saw something.
There were a couple of
Adjacent property owners that
adjacent
were.
property owners who
From
acknowledged.
Gainsworth all the way up to Peacock Holdings, which basically is right next to the oyster farm. So every single one of those people got notified along Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
There were just
And this was the only comment that came in, and we
Okay.
have not received any mailings returned, so we're assuming they all got to where they need to be.
Okay.
And I apologize for the interruption, but I think what you might be referring to is the signature pages.
Right.
from
Yes.
When I did my initial JPA,
Correct.
got given the north and the south
Yes.
neighbors.
Okay.
Yes.
Was the clam bed owners, the leases, were they notified, or?
We don't maintain who
Yeah.
owns the leases, so no.
That's well.
That would probably be the state too, because I think that.
The state has jurisdiction over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, well, at this point, I would make a motion that we defer any type of action until we get some more information from VMRC. I don't know how the rest of you feel, so that would be the motion on the table. Does anybody, do we have any discussion on that?
To determine whether it's in our jurisdiction, is that what you're talking about?
Correct,
The only thing that I would say is that, so this meeting wasn't a waste of time. And this is such a de minimis application of, you know, a piece of equipment that, you know, if we said, okay, it's okay by us, and then the other people down the road said, okay, it's all okay by us also, then at least we wouldn't have to meet again. You know, we would have done something here. And I think, I mean, this is such a tiny little trial. You know, in my view, with little or no impact on anything. If we just say, okay by us, then when this comes up again, we don't have to meet.
I understand.
And we did something.
But, boy, I mean, the package, I mean, again, having done this for quite a few years, I usually defer to the town, and we didn't really get any recommendation from them. Secondly, I don't think it was clear that I would have to see something that repackaged, because it wasn't laid out there, just want to do one one barrier and then see how it goes, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we can meet every month. So, you know, if you want to reword the proposal and, you know, give a test for 6 months, I would be more apt to. But I think what's in front of us right now, I don't really feel comfortable just giving them carte blanche to.
Agree, and that JPA process is a serious process that they've entered into, and they're not going to want, I mean, I wouldn't do the JPA process for one boom. You need to do the JPA process for exactly how you've done it. So, you know, I wouldn't recommend them changing, you know, their regulatory, what they've submitted to the regulators to satisfy us and say there's going to be a one season, one boom trial. But that is not what it says now. And again, it's not clear. I don't see where we have anything to say either about this. But I think it's probably prudent to wait and make sure.
May I add one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's also another JPA application that's been submitted to rebuild that entire beach. And it would be a shame if we rebuilt that beach and then we didn't address this issue. Because that's gonna be a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of resources spent on getting a beach back to where it should be. And then just to let the stuff keep coming in.
Understood.
It you know, to me, it's kind of a.
Yeah, I agree where you're coming from. And I maybe we're just talking semantics of our jurisdiction at this point.
Yes.
And, you know, what we are built to adjudicate on. And I understand, Mike, what you're saying, but like I said, I think that what's in front of us right now.
Isn't what?
I wouldn't feel comfortable just giving them.
Isn't what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You know, just the de minimis kind of one boom trial.
That's not how it reads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the motion on the table is to defer, and, you know, we can meet next month if you want to repackage it. Hopefully, maybe we get some more from the VIMS and VMRC about, you know, what the long-term repercussions are and if it's even in our jurisdiction. So, so that's the
Seconded.
motion on the table. So I've got a second. Are we in favor of tabling the project?
Aye.
In favor? All right. So, so we're gonna new business. We're gonna table the motion until at the very least till next month, and proceed from there. So, one more matter is just the approval of our meeting calendar on the agenda for 2026, and basically third Wednesday, right, of every month. That's our standing. So, are we all in agreement that that'll be our standing meeting time for 2026?
Sure.
All right. So third Wednesday in February right now will be our tentative next meeting. And with that said, do I have an motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Make a motion?
All right, second? Second. All right, and all in favor, we're adjourned. So, all right, thank you all for your time.
Liz, what you're saying is they shouldn't resubmit it, so
No, because
I mean, you make a good point.